Well, folks, I can finally say I feel like Forbes, CNBC, Fox News, my life has been reduced to coming on to Elon Musk's Twitter, scrolling down to the most controversial statement being like, hey, Tesla has diamond hands. Clearly they're not paper handing their Bitcoin position like so many of you must be right now. I'll hit the comments, scroll down to the funniest comment I can possibly find, and then basically just share it on my stock news page, which if you haven't followed my stock news page, I post really funny stuff. You guys should be coming on here. You can follow. I'm going to leave the link in the comments section below. But putting all of that aside, today, folks, we're going to dabble down into my thoughts, opinions surrounding the Bitcoin crash that is actually happening during the making of this video. We're going to dive into my $270,000 dividend stock portfolio, which encapsulates Bitcoin, so it's not purely a dividend portfolio, clearly. And then we're going to step back, take a look at a broader overview, talk about how I've incorporated my accounts, and I have finalized that 3 months later because them corporate accounts are boring, but my God, the money I'm going to save. We're going to talk about all that. So in the clarity of my transparency on this wonderful Friday, consider hitting that like button, folks, and let's kick it off by talking about the destruction of my Bitcoin portfolio. My God, I'm down 38%. The worst part is this is only one. I have two of these and the other one has more money in it. Anyways, folks, the reason I want to talk about Bitcoin here is try to make some price predictions because so many of you Tesla followers, Elon Musk fans, paper hand holders are selling out against these whales that are making you petrified. Because man, look at the price action here. If we zoom in to literally the last day, Bitcoin just took another dark, deep tanking. I could see it retesting that $30,000 range. And if it cracks that, we are going into the 20s, baby. And I am not concerned one little bit because I long-term believe Bitcoin is going to be a fabulous investment and it is a volatile one at that. And clearly too many of you have over leveraged yourselves in the crypto space or you wouldn't be selling. Yeah, I'm down probably a couple $1,000s. Do I care? Heck no, I'm going to be using this as a buying opportunity because this is why I didn't go all in Bitcoin when it was at 60,000. I started going in at 60, but I'm going to start cost averaging in over the weekend here. And I'm just shocked that it has even dropped this low because again, not like Tesla's selling and a lot of the rhetoric that has led up to this doesn't make any real sense at all. So the fundamentals haven't changed. I will be buying in. It is likely that we see either one of two things. Crypto's going to keep crashing or we're going to see a lull period for the next couple months. And I'm inclined to hope that it's a lull period, but we'll just have to wait, find out, see what happens, right? So putting the Bitcoin crazy insanity destruction of my portfolio aside, let's just talk about the individual accounts themselves because I did make one new dividend stock purchase this week, a very boring one that I've talked about immensely, which is Hydro One. Another fabulous utility to add next to my Southern Company and my Northland Power because I've mentioned in the past, I'm trying to diversify my portfolio of assets and Northland Power is a pure renewable play. Southern Company is nuclear coal. They also do renewables, one of the largest utilities in the States. And then Hydro One does transmission lines. They don't really produce the power. And I feel like this is like the trifecta of renewables for my portfolio. What a boring conversation to most, but I love it because Hydro One now, using those dividends that I received, I made about, $1,200 in dividends over the last couple months. I used 100% of those dividends tax-free to buy Hydro One here, which is now paying me an extra $40 annually in dividends. Nothing huge, but this is where we start seeing the compounded rate of effect, baby. What a boring conversation that makes you rich. I know Bitcoin's so exciting, guys, but this is where my real excitement and joy comes from. Other than that, my TFSA has been doing beautifully. I mean, RioCan is almost fully recovered, and everything else has just been la-di-da in the green. Most things flatlining like MO, Apple, but I'm not complaining because, again, this is primarily a dividend portfolio at which I have finally shifted around all of my stocks out of my RBC account. I've moved them over to this account because those were the stocks I didn't want in my corporation. And I know many of you guys have been hearing me like a broken record talk about this, but 3 months ago, I started a process of incorporating my business because I maxed out my tax advantage accounts. My personal business is likely going to make 6 figures this year, and I am petrified of paying too much in taxes. So I spent 3 bloody months opening up a corporation, which, by the way, I'm going to make a full video on how I did this tomorrow. So if you want to subscribe, learn how I did that, it might benefit you. Honestly, if you're in the similar situation where you've maxed your tax advantaged accounts, maybe you have a full-time income, but you have a side hustle, whether it's day trading or just doing something where you're maybe making an extra 20, 30, 50,000 a year, you're going to probably want to incorporate because the Ontario corporate tax rate in Canada, specifically 11%. guys. That means for every 10,000 I make moving forward, I'm only going to be paying 1,100 in taxes instead of my marginal regular income tax rate, which is like 28-30%. That means instead of paying 3,000 on every 10 grand I make, again, I'm paying 1,100, and I've already made 10 grand since I've incorporated. So, super awesome nerdy stuff. I drool at how nerdy my brain operates some days, guys. But we'll get into the corporate account in one sec, because this is where I've moved all the stocks I didn't want in there, which are primarily my dividend stocks. In Canada, we already get a huge tax advantage on buying Canadian companies. So if you're getting paid dividends, you're already paying a super reduced rate. So I don't mind holding these in my regular brokerage account to have access at any given time to that backup cash flow. That's because I work for myself. I like having a reliable backup income, being a sustainable source like my dividend stocks. So in here we can see I added BNS, RioCan, because RioCan wasn't the full position in this account, but now it sits at 22,000. In my TFSA, I have what, 10,000 in RioCan. That's the largest position in this portfolio. Crazy, guys. But yeah, so TD got added, and I think that was really about it. BNS, RioCan, and TD. Now it's kind of annoying because they didn't drag over my actual purchase prices, because it's like they reset the prices for some reason, because really I'm up like 30% on these positions, but now it's saying that I'm down even though I haven't sold them. So hopefully Scotia will adjust that. But taking a look in the actual corporation in and of itself, guys, so this was the beautiful account that is going to make my life a dream, because what I do is I stack those dollars up from my personal business. I leave them in the corporate account. I take all of those dollars, I either put them into a Vanguard S&P 500 index, an Invesco NASDAQ 100 index, and then I buy some aggressive growth, things like Facebook, things like Tesla, because this account, I'm not as reliant on the dividends because I want this to grow, because I'm going to pay myself a living wage out of this corporation. So if this corporation can spend a whole year stacking cash and getting capital gains off of index funds and growth stocks, and I need to pay myself a salary, I can sell those stocks or do what I need to do at a much more reduced tax rate, rather than say capital gain or day trading or swing trading in my regular brokerage accounts. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm literally going to break down the entire step-by-step process that I had to go through to get this incorporated, because my God, what a headache I had to go through. But now my corporate account is Passive Income Investor Inc. And it's super cool because all of my credit cards that I opened up with this account, which if I can show you something here without revealing too much of my personal information, let me see if I can bury this. It's super cool because all of the cards themselves, like I said, this is going to be really hard for me to hide because I don't want you guys to see my personal banking information. But if you take a look, you should be able to see that that card says Passive Income Investor on it, which I just think is super cool, because all the accounts, all the paperwork I get has my YouTube channel name on it, which I just think is super awesome. But putting all of that aside, folks, I do have some other brokerage accounts. Don't need to talk about things like my RRSP. That's boring. Who cares about your registered retirement savings plan? Whatever. But yeah, it's doing okay. It's doing really good in here, guys. Let's just talk about the broader overview really quick, which, by the way, if you want to support this channel, guys, we do operate something called the Chartmaster. We put together a pile of financial spreadsheets for you guys. It's a one-time fee. A lot of them are automated. You can automate your dividends, your stock portfolio, pick what's comfortable for you. We put hours, literally months of work into those. And that's kind of what I use to generalize my portfolio that I'm showing to you here. Use coupon code, again, Passive Income Investor, and you'll get 15% off if you want to support the channel. And I really recommend this because it just allows you to see your diversification risk. And taking a look at mine personally, guys, now that I don't hold any ETFs currently, the portfolio, I haven't adjusted fully because I'm sitting at around 270,000 as of this moment. It says the account's worth about 261,000. Not exactly accurate, but a general overview enough. The only thing that I'm really excited about right now, guys, is my cash position, because I'm almost up to $10,000. I want to scale this to about 20,000 as part of my emergency fund, which I mentioned time and time again. Currently cash, about 4% of the entire portfolio weighting. Other than that, the only new addition, like we mentioned, was Hydro One. I will be continually adding to that position from my dividends to continue that compounded rate of return. But other than that, I am not aggressively buying into this market. I know I keep telling you guys I'm just buying Bitcoin, and I am going to be buying the Tesla dip at some point here as well. But those are such tiny percentages of the entire portfolio. I mean, take a look at Bitcoin here, guys. Bitcoin literally makes up like what? A 3% weighting of the, there's no way it's 3%. I highly doubt that. I mean, Bitcoin, my Bitcoin position today, yeah, there's something wrong here. Guys, there's something something wrong with the portfolio because my Bitcoin weighting is like $3,200, I think. So let me adjust that. Sorry, this was not pre-prepped very well. I'm going to have to come back and fix this. But yeah, my Bitcoin weighting is something like $3,300 right now, more or less 1% of the entire portfolio. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, all right? So anyways, so combining the Tesla and the Bitcoin, just to keep this in perspective, guys, they're not making up that big of a weighting because Tesla's at currently what? My Tesla position makes up 6%. So with the Bitcoin, those really risky, volatile holdings only make up 7-8% at the most of my entire portfolio. So even though I talk about this a lot, I don't want you guys to just go balls to the wall buying into these things thinking that your entire portfolio should be made out of them. I always try and reiterate the people that are selling Bitcoin right now are paper handers because they likely over leveraged into the crypto space. If you over leverage and you're worried that you're going to sell if it dips, you probably put too much in, folks. But in light of all of this, not much else to say going into the week. I want to pass the question off to you. How are you guys holding up? What are your favorite stocks that you bought this week? Are you interested in the crypto space at these prices? It might be a good opportunity for newbies to start dipping their toes in, perhaps. I don't know. I just do what I do and document it here for you beautiful buggers. So consider hitting that like button, letting me know in the comment sections. But stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you tomorrow.